My name is Michael Leboff. I am the hockey editor here at Action, and joining me, as always, my friend, the professional bettor. You know him on gambling Twitter as So Money Sports and So Money. We're now getting towards the business end of round two. A couple series at 3 series at 2-1, one series at 3-0. Let's start with that 3-0 one. That's the Bolts. They're up. How about the Tampa Bay Lightning? Tampa Bay.
Unbelievable.
This is just something else, man. No Braden Point. They're up 3-0 on the President's Trophy winning Florida Panthers, and they get to have their first chance at closing out the series on Monday night at home. This is a back-to-back, the only back-to-back of the series. Florida's plus 105 right now. Tampa Bay minus 125. The over-under here 6. These two teams played on Saturday afternoon. This game, it closed pretty close to a pick 'em with Florida slightly favored in game 3. And it was just more of the same. The Panthers, it's almost painful to watch because you can feel how frustrated they are when you're just watching these games. Offensively, they're making one too many mistakes defensively,
Yep.
and you're just sitting there watching like this is that this team is better, but they're going up against elite competition every night, and they can't deal with the fact that the Lightning basically just sell out to win every battle. And that's just not what you see in the regular season. We talked about it before the playoffs started. It is a different game. It's a cliche, but it's a true one. And the Panthers just are not ready for it. And now they find themselves in a 3-0 hole. What are your thoughts on the series so far? And what do you think about the pricing for game 4, which, as I said, the Bolts minus 125 right now at home?
Yeah, what actually stood out to me was after the game with the comments that were coming out of Florida's camp. You had their head coach saying that the other team had more will and more desire to win. That's really strange to hear in the playoffs like that, especially in like the middle of a series. Before the series started, we mentioned how this back-to-back was going to be very important since Tampa Bay has a big advantage in goal. There's obviously no question that Vasilevsky starts both games, but it looks like Bobrovsky will go both games as well. At least that's what Brunette says. So you take that with a grain of salt. But so this could be a really tough recovery here for the Panthers in Game 4. Look, you nailed it. Playoff hockey is a different game. It's all about matchups and breaks. The Panthers are learning. They're learning the playoff lesson that countless teams before them have learned. Um, it's just a different game. This was a bad matchup for the Panthers, and they didn't want to or were unable to make the adjustments that they needed after the Capital series. They found a way to win that series, but as we've alluded to, uh, how many times now, the Lightning can do everything the Capitals tried to do. I don't even think Florida has played poorly for the most part 5-on-5, but they've run into the best goaltender on the planet, and the special teams have proven to be a big disadvantage for them. Let's just say that. For Game 4, so the Lightning were dogs in Game 3, and not surprisingly, they will become a pretty decent sized favorite for Game 4, going for the sweep at home. Even though Brunette is saying that Bob probably goes, I wouldn't be surprised to see Spencer Knight. At this point, I don't see any reason why you don't get your future starting goaltender another playoff game under his belt. I think we're lined fairly for now on this side. I would like Tampa Bay to be a little cheaper, but I would also be interested in the over here as well, if we're going to be staying at the 6. And if that 6 gets a little cheaper, I think that I will come in on the over.
If he goes with Knight, I like the Panthers more than I would if he goes with Bobrovsky. And I wonder if the market will reflect that. It's kind of like one of those situations in a game where your team goes down 3-0. It might not be the goalie's fault,
Yeah.
but you pull them just to kind of just do something to send a jolt along, down the spine of your team, because the Panthers need one. Their top
Yeah.
guys aren't performing. They're not playing, like you said, they're not playing terribly 5-on-5, but they're making one too many mistakes. And that mistake ends up in the back of their net every time. And we talked all season long how the Panthers, they can outscore those mistakes when they're playing a team like the Sabres, when they're playing a team like the Blue Jackets. But when you're playing the best playoff team we've seen in a long time, they're not going to be making the mistakes. They know how to kind of navigate certain parts of the game, how not to let up a goal with 1 second left in the third period, for example, right? Like the 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 Lightning are incredibly tough nut to crack in these situations, and you can outplay them and still lose. I mean, the Maple Leafs found that lesson out the hard way. So it's just a strange situation here for bettors, because this number has just slowly moved towards the Lightning with every game, and it's just hard to argue with it, because it's you want to buy back against overreaction all the time, but at the same, in this series, like what is pushing you to bet the Panthers as a small underdog?
Yeah, and like speaking on Knight as well, like credit to him, he's turned his season around. He had a good ending to the year. So now you have to ask yourself the question, if you're the Panthers, that do you want to lose this series with Bobrovsky back to back, or do you want to lose it with your goaltender who's going to be playing a lot of playoff games for you, hopefully in the future? So for me, it's a no brainer. But and in terms of how the market will react. If past indication stays true, then money will come in on the over pretty quickly as soon as Spencer Knight gets announced.